I call the honourable member Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First on the Financial Markets Conduct Bill 2011, second reading, and New Zealand First will be supporting this bill as we noted at the first reading. And certainly, Mr Speaker, we are in full support of this extensive bill, some 561 pages, a huge amount of legislation here that's been put together in order to get New Zealand back on the right track in terms of our financial markets and oversight of our financial institutions. It is somewhat disappointing, Mr Speaker, that it has taken so many years for this bill to be through to the Parliament. What a shame that this sort of legislation was not in place perhaps a decade or more ago, and then we would not. And then we would, well, National was in power in the 90s and didn't do anything about it. A decade or so ago, I said. And what a shame that through the 90s and through the 2000s, this wasn't in place, because many very, very good, hard-working New Zealanders, thousands and thousands of hard-working New Zealanders, perhaps would not be in the situation they are today, having lost their life savings or large amounts of their life savings because of the shysters and the shenanigans that have gone on in our financial markets in recent years. And what a shame it is that many of those affected by those shenanigans that have gone on are the very ones that need the support of their finances now, having retired, being in a situation where they were looking forward to a safe and secure retirement with their life savings, only to find that some real shysters in the industry have diddled them out of their life savings. And that's a great shame, and it's a sad day, it's a sad period in New Zealand's history that this did occur, and it is very disappointing that many of those involved were able to get away with it, and to this day have not been held to account for their actions. And the fact that 61 companies went bust in our financial markets was a very, very poor reflection on the New Zealand cowboy financial market that was operating. And the fact that 61 finance companies could take so much money out of this economy, so much investment out of this economy, perhaps is a reflection of why there is so much distrust today in investment in parts of the New Zealand economy. And so this bill does serve to return a level of security to the New Zealand financial economy, so that people once again can feel that their life savings can be put somewhere where it perhaps can be trusted, and know that when they do require it in the future with their retirement, that it will be safeguarded. And therefore it is good to see that the penalties have been greatly increased for individuals, between $500,000 and $2.5 million in terms of the penalties for individuals, and also the corporates as well, and that jail terms of up to 5 years for individuals, again, for misleading the public or providing misleading statements or providing misleading financial information. So that's good, Mr Chairman. But it is something that New Zealand First has always been on about, and what a shame that, you know, as I said, back in the 1990s, when the Right Honourable Winston Peters exposed the wine box saga, exposed much of that which was going on at the time, and how in that period of the 90s we saw the start of this sort of activity going on, and the Right Honourable Winston Peters and New Zealand First exposed the wine box saga back in the 90s. It is just a pity that more of this couldn't have been exposed during the last decade. Mr Speaker, in terms of this, we, New Zealand First, are supporting this through the next readings. We hope it will not take too much longer for this to be enacted through this Parliament. This was first brought to the Parliament in October 2011. We are now February 2013. Like everything, it does take some time through this Parliament, but the longer that this takes to actually enact and put into place, the longer New Zealanders, good hard-working Kiwis, are put at risk. And so we would urge all members of this House, and we are disappointed to hear that the Green Party is not supporting it, but we know that it does have the numbers to be put through this House, that we would urge that this move with haste, that the Finance and Expenditure Committee move at pace with this, and we would welcome this coming back to the top of the parliamentary agenda as soon as possible so that we can move on this and safeguard the interests of New Zealanders and their financial investments. New Zealand First is supporting this bill.
Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Member Kamaljeet Singh Bakshi. Sat Sri Akal.